Hey, this is Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop with a review of a game currently on Kickstarter, Starlight. Quick disclaimer that I was given no compensation for this review. I first saw Starlight described as a melding between Gloomhaven and X-Wing, the miniature game, with a lot of campaign play but also space combat. And from what I've played, a brief demo of what the game has to offer, just 4 missions, that's generally true. You pick from different characters, outfit unique ships, upgrade them as you go along, fight varied battles against different enemies with AI decks and a modifier deck that affects your attacks. But does Starlight fly high to the level of its inspirations? Let's find out and get to the game. Let's start with the good stuff in the limited demo I played. First of all, the gameplay in the space battles, which is where you'll spend the majority of your time, is quick, straightforward, and easy to learn. The battles I played, even the more involved ones, took no more than maybe 30 or 40 minutes to resolve. On a player's turn, they allocate between 4 and 5 action dice to different movement and attack options on their ship. And on the AI turn, a card is drawn for each type of enemy, which dictates where they move and how they attack and any special effects they apply to you. The iconography is clear and straightforward, and I have to give a special shout out to the player boards and the enemy boards, which keep track of everything in a really smooth way and even show you which status effects you're being affected by. It's really great and nice, clean design. But what really matters here is the puzzle of playing out your turn and the feel of dogfighting with friends, and a lot of that works great here. The movement, attack options, and special abilities can add a lot of variety. You can slow enemies down, you can zoom past them and strike them from behind. And something I love, a personal favorite of design for me, something we try to put a lot in our own designs, is that play for the players is generally simultaneous. I can take 2 of my actions, set up an enemy with some kind of negative status effect, and then you can take one of your actions and shoot to capitalize on that, drawing an enemy away from the crowd, pulling them off so that your partner can get behind them and shoot them up. It's a ton of fun and definitely gets that feel of space combat right. Another nice thing that plays into all that is how upgradable everything is. Now, I only saw a small piece of this, but you have weapon slots on your ship, engine slots, tech slots, abilities, and you can level all these up and they have multiple uses. And some of these just look so cool. Like, for example, there's an afterburner weapon that splashes all the enemies behind you with a bunch of damage and then bursts you forward. Really nice. Finally, I think the scope and variety is really neat. You've got a bit of 7th Continent-ish play with your ship exploring outer space and with your crew sometimes landing on planets and doing a little away mission, moving around and finding items and interacting with things. And that mixed with the consistent narrative choices you'll make where you can take the side of justice or the rogue path, kind of giving me a Mass Effect vibe. It really excites me and I want to see where the game goes as they build more of it. Now, all that being said, from what I saw, there are some things that might concern gamers, and a lot of this could change since I only saw a tiny part of the game, but I just want to put them out there so you can pledge or not with your eyes fully open. First, the main way the ships are differentiated is through how many shields and hull points they have, which doesn't really make much of a difference. They feel pretty much equivalent. Now, they do have access to different tech cards, but in what I saw, they could mostly use a lot of the same things. I'm sure that'll change as more are unlocked and they are more unique to certain types of ships. So it'll probably be fine, but if you're coming in looking for something like Gloomhaven where each class is an entirely new beast to explore, you're not going to really get that here so far. Secondly, while enemy turns are pretty quick to resolve, the AI sometimes does stuff that's a little random, like just moving to the side and out of firing range of you. On a related topic, right now the battlefields are pretty static. In the games I played, you just had planets you couldn't move into and asteroids that could do some damage. Now, I talked with the designer, and he said they're going to have black holes that suck you in and wormholes that you can teleport around with, so I think this will get way better, but just in the tutorial I saw, it was pretty simple. And that leads into maybe the most important thing I can say, which is that this is not a super complex space combat game. It's not a simulation. If you're looking for combat like X-Wing, where turning and getting out of position are super hard to deal with, or something like Silent Death, this game is much simpler. For a single die, you can rotate your ship in any direction, and the enemies rotate easily too. So you don't really get these situations where you're like going off in the wrong direction. That might be great for some players, but if you're looking for a crunchier game, this isn't really it. Finally, as a very small note, the narrative I read wasn't that great yet. Now, I know it's an early draft, so I'm sure it will improve, but so far, in the little bit I saw, I wasn't that invested in the characters, and I'd like to see them fleshed out more. All that being said, I think Starlight is an incredibly ambitious design, and I love the idea of a campaign game paired with spaceship fighting, which is something I find really exciting. So I'm definitely in for this one. I want to see what they come up with, but I can't guarantee 100% that it's going to be a perfect game. I saw only a small piece and not everything locked into place yet, but I like a lot of what I see, and I'm hoping they knock it out of the park. Good gaming, everyone, and I'll see you at the next stop.